Good morning. How is everybody this fine day? It's lovely out there today. It's very calm, but it is raining. I've not been I've not been for my duke yet, but I am going. That's why I'm not dressed, because if I get dressed, then that's what puts me off going in. Oh, the routines and the disciplines one must have. So let me shut down a few things that could be interfere. Yes, so this morning what I wanted to talk to you about is our self-talk, our words, and very often how mindless we are about the things that we say. And that can go like in gossip. We can be saying things about other people that aren't true or that are maybe nasty or unkind. We can also be criticising ourselves, the body. We can also be affirming things that we don't want. And there's a great saying, if you don't want it, don't say it. So again, if you imagine your cells, all 60 or 80 trillion of them, who's counting, hanging about in the gravitational field, held together by God knows what, and they're just there. And they are every time you believe a thought, you have a hostile perception, you judge somebody else, you criticise the body, you wish things were different, you try and control, every cell starts to darken and tighten. Maybe to here, maybe just to there, So this is critical for us to really, truly understand. Because if you want to really utilise your free will, which has got to be one of the greatest gifts, and apparently, according to Esther Hicks, is the main reason we came here, because we would never have come if we didn't have free will. So that free will, of course, we're not using it because nobody really explained to us properly the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and also a framework for making life easy. Now, that framework could be the Bible for some people, it can be the 12-step program for some people, it can be business coaching, guidelines. It's just a framework that you would use for success, whatever that means to you. The three areas: your health, your wealth, and your relationships. So the very first part of that process, of course, comes from the thought. And are you the thinker or are you being thought? Are you the flute or are you the air blowing through the flute? And, these are the questions that really start to open up the mind and the brain. Remember, as soon as you start asking questions, the frontal lobe lights up to help you find the answers. Now, that may be a difficult concept to believe if you don't see the world through quantum physics like I do, because it's so interesting for me. I just see a big quantum soup of energy, light and information. That's it. And we want more light. And most of the time for the human body, we want less information. We want the blueprint for healing. But what happens is we get caught at this thought level and we talk a lot of shit, right? I mean, I do too. We all do. You hear people just, that's not even true, not true, lie. Because when you really start to work with letting go, with breath work, with intermittent fasting, you come to realise that your body is a giant lie detector. But not only is it receiving information and the information's bouncing off going, not true, not true, not true, bullshit, it's also giving out information. And this is really critical to our peace. Maybe you just want peace. Maybe you don't have a big monetary goal or a big career goal. Maybe it's cellular peace. That's certainly my goal now. And harmonious relationships, if that can be achieved. But you need two people involved in that, and you don't always get that. So you just have to let go. So we start with the thought. And remember, the thoughts are electrical, they travel along this electrical current. And I used to have a really good friend, and we would just look at each other because knew we were both thinking the same thing. There is a telepathic, there is are these. Now we know, pick up your phone. You can phone anybody in the world right now and speak to them in real time. What is that information traveling on? We have these as when we start to see ourselves as these big beacons, like a huge big human pylon that information can travel through, that can be received and it can be sent out. I mean, it's maybe not as romantic, but you're a big beaming transmitter and transceiver of information. And every single thing on this planet started with a thought. Is it possible to Heal Scotland's health trajectory around? Now, I'm not the only person doing it, not by a nautical mile. There's literally hundreds of incredible people all over our bit of land, doing the same thing, wanting to make a difference, really understanding. If you have a pool of people that are in poverty and addiction and despair, you cannot be up here going, "Well, I'm all right, Jack." Well, you could, but that's ego. You do not understand the quantum dynamics of being human. Because you cannot, we have to see us as a collective, and we have to help the people that are way less fortunate than us. That's just a quantum rule. Whatever religion you are, it's in all religions, I suppose. I don't really know a lot about religion. I'm learning a little bit about the Bible now, but my mum was a great example of everybody in the community mattered, and she would feed us, 8 of us, and she'd go round the neighbours and share the food and bake, take them soup, regardless. Very much, what you love to see in the communities again today. She shared. We were not allowed a biscuit unless there was enough biscuits for all our friends that came into the house, which there very rarely was because we ate them all. So that whole idea of sharing in community and looking after each other, where on earth is that going? And you maybe have it as a concept in your mind, but how can we truly get back to understanding that at that level? And I'm going to be talking to my friend Neil McEnroy about this at the festival. You need to come along and hear him. He's mentally good about the economics of it and how poverty, poor health, and poor wealth are intrinsically linked. So we have to look at the economics. So we can do as much as we can individually, but we have to look at it as a collective. We all have to be way better educated on the economics and how we can community wealth building, how communities can get round um, the ideas that are really simple. Anyway, I'm digressing. Come and see him at the festival. So the thought, let's start. The thought's electrical in nature, so it's travelling at the speed of light, or round about that, fast. The feelings are magnetic. So we're just going to look at the self-talk. So what are you saying? How powerful, we know how powerful our words are. If you go back to my situation working with people who've been diagnosed terminal, can you imagine the fear that that instills? These words, based on a snapshot in time of this energy system, and then we call it a test. It's a snapshot in time, and then we give a prognosis from that. So there'll be a diagnosis, which will be the label, and then the prognosis is the concept around what that is. Now, you can take this into any level of whether it's your health, your relationships, or your wealth. It's all the same thing. So you're given a narrative with words that can terrify the living daylights out of you. 1 minute, you're completely fine, you feel fine. The next minute, everything's changed and you're on a trajectory towards crossing the veil because of the words that somebody has used to you. Now, that's an extreme example, obviously, but that is what happens. Today, that'll happen to people. They'll go for results and they will take on other people's words. So, and it will terrify them. So we need to understand the power of our words and the power of our self-talk, because often you'll not even say things out loud, but it'll be going round and round in your head. And your cells, your nervous system, and the neurotransmitters in your brain, the chemistry in your blood, the, your heart rate, your blood pressure, all of that is getting affected by what you're saying to your cells. Because remember, in this inner verse, inner world, what you say, and whether it's telepathic in here, whether you're looking at somebody else and bringing them down, the body gets exactly the same chemistry because of the mirror neurons. Joe Dispenza, go and check him out if you want to learn more about this. How we have we're in a reflective, subjective universe. And when we stop blaming and shaming and complaining and wanting to bring other people down in order to make us feel better, we start to take responsibility, and that starts with, what are we thinking? What are you saying to yourselves? Like, let me give you an example, which we used at the Goddess Gala. I am knackered. I am gubbed. That was another favourite one. It's a nightmare. I'm all the variations of tired, knackered, exhausted, done in, fucked. Whatever it is you're saying, right? You come home, and the two most important words you can start a sentence with, I am. Now, let me try and explain this. So the subatomic particles that are invisible, they're just all hanging out, and you're putting your focus into this. It's a converse focus into the particle, saying, I am this, right? I am this. I am an idiot. Maybe you're saying I am wonderful. I am whatever it is you're saying. That's the most powerful affirmation you can use. Now, most of us, I am skint, I'm fed up, I'm exhausted, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, all of that stuff. The cells are coming in and going, this is the way it is. So you've just told your cells, this is the way it is. The very thing that you don't want. So if you think, and this is a habit, right? I mean, I still do it. You catch yourself on, make a game out of it. Don't make it something else to stress yourself out about. But listen to what you're saying. Every time you do that, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have done that. Why? Why are they doing that? The body's simply getting the same information. There's a problem. There's a problem. There's a problem. This isn't good. This isn't good. I can't sustain this level of misery. Right? And this negative chat, negative chat, negative chat. So it's like actually poisoning your cells. Think about it. This is the kind of stuff we need to be teaching in schools. There's tons of data and science now that will clearly show you the fight, flight, fawn, freeze response to the rest, restore, repair, digest response. 2 states, obviously varying degrees of these states. So in terms of health, but again, you can take this into your relationships and you can take this into your wealth. The more relaxed and happy and positive mind, and we'll talk about positive thinking versus positive feeling, that you are, the more fun you're going to have. Simple as that. And the more people are going to want to be around you, the more solution focused you're going to be, the more you're going to see the drama for what it is, drama. And you can actually literally change the way that your brain lights up. Again, Joe Dispenza's work. When you change the negative affirmations into inquiring, like Byron Katie uses that word, inquiry. Right, so I am knackered. Take that as an example. It would turn it into a question. What would it take for me to have more energy? How do I feel more energy on a daily basis? What would it take for me to heal? How does it get better than this? And, you know, if you have a religious background, then people will be, they pray. They'll pray to whoever their God is. The way I see it, again, bearing in mind, for me, everything's just quantum physics. We're interacting with energy. It's we're asking this intelligence, this quantum soup for assistance and for help. And that language, if you feel it, do it with me right now. I'm knackered. I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. Right? Feel the body. Now change that into an inquiry. What would it take for me to feel alive and vital and curious and motivated? Feel how that feels. How does it get even a wee bit better than this? Yeah, okay. Yes, you need to get the kids out. I get that, but it's on replay for people that want to watch this or send this on to somebody. So powerful in this information. And also get all your friends learning it so that you can catch each other on when you go back into the old habits. Because what we're talking about here is changing, shifting our perception. Morning, Nikki. How do we literally expand our own selves, starting with our self talk? So let's do another one. What else would think of something negative you say? It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. So it's a nightmare, right? That's a very negative, solid statement you're telling your cells. And I want you to start seeing your cells and your microbiome as your own wee personal jungle of fun. So you're starting to look at them and you're looking down at all the incredible intelligence that's going on, that's living on and in you. So you've got the physical body and you've got this electromagnetic field that feeds the information in and out. So once you start to perceive your body in a completely different way, which is what we need to do, then you can start talking to it like you're somebody who actually cares about it and who wants to live in it free from pain, full of vitality and joy and excitement, dancing, singing, and having the most incredible experience with your cells. You have that potential. So feel it's a nightmare. What would it take for me to let go of that limiting belief? How do I switch that perception from nightmare to dream? I am living my dream. It's a dream, actually is. It's an illusional state that I can choose to enjoy or not. Find your own words. Play around with it. I was listening to Jordan Peterson and Lex Friedman this morning. Jordan Peterson got 8 scholars together. They went away to this house and they, for 8 days, and they studied and played their jet skis and all that. They've obviously got loads of money, but you don't need money to have fun. But they spent 8 days discussing all of the issues and looking at different things and different concepts and different belief systems. And they had, an incredible time just being able to discuss life. And we just don't have these conversations anymore. And that's really, it means that nothing's coming out. It's all getting kept in here. We're wondering. I had a client yesterday, she was saying, what will people be thinking of me? And I was like, oh my God, who gives a shit? But that's the reality, especially when you live in a small community. But it's really easy now to hide yourself away, entertain yourself online. And I do that a bit as well, I can totally admit it. And actually forget we need feedback. And if you're single and living on your own, you'll not be getting that feedback. You'll not be getting that feedback from other humans going, rein your neck, pull your neck in. That's not fair. That's not nice. That's not kind. Because you can literally start in this little world of your own where you're having no feedback from your community, from the masses, from your family, because you just keep them out because you don't want the feedback. And everything to do with energy medicine is about feedback. So start off with thinking about what you're saying to yourselves. Are you criticizing yourselves? Are you judging yourselves? Are you trying to control others? Are you wishing others were different? So then, and catch yourself on when you're doing it. They are doing this to me, because it's this idea I'm the victim. Poor me. The apparent others are out to get me. And other people can only have power over you if you allow that. And, I'm not saying that people won't hurt you, they will. But you can then choose to ruminate in that pain, or to remember hurt people. So somebody that's trying to hurt you is hurting, for sure. It's absolutely a given. It's not personal, it's coming through their pain. Again, to use Eckhart Tolle's terminology, their pain body. So, what would it take for me to fully perceive I am living the dream, instead of saying it's a nightmare? And let's talk about positive thinking and positive feeling, right? So another one is, I'm starving. There'll be nobody on this live or this replay that's starving. Pretty sure of that. So again, what that's saying to the body is there's a lack of food, lack of water, lack of whatever you like to put in the body. So what would it take for me to experience the sensations coming through the body without labeling them and negatively affirming them? So maybe you want to eat, but you absolutely don't need to. You get a feeling that immediately is like, I need to eat that feeling away. And we know that emotional eating's a thing. So getting to understand it's a feeling. I can drink water, it'll probably go away. I can tap, it'll probably go away. I can deliberately fast, I can acknowledge the feeling, and I can let it go. So we don't need to do anything with the feelings. We can completely ignore them. But that can be a challenge, obviously, if the feeling's strong. So this takes me to positive thinking. I used to give a shit what people thought. What's that all about? I'm learning to accept the new me. I'm not the version I used to be, and love things now compared to the old version. Yes, it's just remembering when you've absolutely are you present, or are you the program? And most of us are the program. We respond. We know when somebody's not present and not listening to what is here in the now. So when you have, I am feeling amazing. The light keeps going here. I don't know how. I'm feeling amazing to. No, I'm not feeling amazing. So you can hear that empty. How are you? Oh, I'm great. And you're like that. No, you're not. Or, oh, I'm fine. Fine's just like, I'm not going to bore you with my stuff, but I'm really actually having quite a hard time right now. And I don't know about you, but I've got a lot of people around me in deep grief right now for loss, So these feelings are very real and very relevant, and that's part of being human, I'm learning a wee bit about that as well. So how do we get our words and our feelings into alignment, so that instead of saying, because this is about manifestation as well, if you are saying, I am a millionaire, I allow myself to be a millionaire, but everything that's coming from the subconscious is like, you're not good enough, I can't trust myself, I have no discipline, I have no self-love, I have no self-esteem. If that's the vibration that's coming out there, then this and this are miles apart. And possibly the manifestation will never come. And this, for me, is how we are going to get people out of poverty mindset, and poverty finances. We have to get the mind right, and we have to understand that you can believe anything you want. It turns out, but believe stuff that's going to empower you, and find a way to make it true. So, and that starts with what you're saying. And my pal used to say about this person, she rattles when she walks, which I just love that saying, because it's like the words are not aligned with the behaviours and the actions. So we're looking to align what the conscious mind is saying with the heart and with the soul, literally. So if you start saying, right, well, what would it take? You're like, I'm exhausted, and a lot of people are exhausted right now, and I'm maybe overwhelmed. I've got too much to do. I don't have enough time. And these concepts are absolutely true. Because if you've got kids and a partner and a job, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you do it. I've had all these things, but not all at the same time. So then you have to go, right, okay, it's basic management. What would it take for me to have more time for myself, or for my mental health, or for my spiritual health? So you start asking the questions, right? So if I was to say, so say I perceive I don't have any time, well, then you have to start actually measuring how long you're on your phone, how much time you're spending watching TV, how much time you're spending drinking wine, and then you have to get completely honest with yourself about the time that could be spent. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of these things, but be honest about your time. So being honest is really, really key to self-talk, owning your stuff, owning your limiting beliefs. I have no time. Is that true? Well, we've all got the same time, 24 hours in a day, 8 say spent sleeping. That leaves us 16. So looking at your time management, I remember doing this when I was at Tony and Guy. It was so powerful, because then you can start adjusting, right? Okay, I'm spending 10 hours watching Netflix. I could take one of them back a week, and I could do something for my sales. So honesty, transparency, keep a journal, write it down. You have to, as my brother always says, you have to measure it to manage it. So you need to know what you're doing on a daily basis and see what you can adjust. And then listen to your chat. Are you talking shite? Because we do. And you hear yourself say something and then you think, that's not even true. That is absolutely not even true. I am making poor choices. And what would it take for me to make great choices? So you can see, and of course, the Byron Katie question, is it true? And I find that that's actually the one question that you need. Is it true? So your homework, your home play for today is listen to yourself chat. If you hear yourself saying, I'm knackered, I'm bored, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the next thing, all the things that you don't really want to be, catch yourself on and turn it into a question. Access consciousness. When you say, I am this shit thing, what you're doing is you're doing the opposite of accessing. You're shutting consciousness off. And when you put it out there, what would it take? You're accessing consciousness. And that's really what's going to make life a lot easier. And like, keep up with your intermittent fasting. Take the food out at night. Give the body an hour in the morning to just wake up, drink some water or some lemon tea or ginger, whatever. Breathe. Even if you can't be bothered with all this, do some breathing. And then all these techniques I'm teaching you over this month, powerful, powerful ways to switch your cellular activity and to expand your cells simply because you can. It's a choice, and we have free will. And there's things that we can't control right now, but there's definitely things that we can. And it's how you talk to your cells and how you talk about other people's cells. And that judging thing, I still judge everybody's haircut. I still judge my own every morning I come on here. I'm like, oh, it would be nicer if it was that colour. What a wee fringe in there would be nice. A few highlights. I can't help it. That's been brainwashed into me since I was a kid, literally in my mum's salon, perming hair, cutting hair, looking at, creating a look. I've always loved that stuff. But now, just because you have a dodgy haircut, I realise there can be more to you than that. So it's looking at our habits, owning it, and turning that negative statement into a question. So, hope you all got something from that. Get one wee tip. If you've worked with me before, you'll have heard this stuff before. But it's, I know that. You know it, but are you actually doing it? Are you practicing it? Are you, can you please judge my hair? You tell. Yeah, it's so interesting now, because well, everything just changed, isn't it? But I used to just say to people, "We've got this new colour. You need to try this. What about that? Look at this haircut." Because I was always looking at people going, "This would be amazing on you." I remember even sitting in the pub with my pal Heather and going, "You should get a big, thick fringe." And she's like, "Right, come on." And we just right up to the flat and we just put this big, thick fringe in on that. Basically, that minute we just went up and we did it. And she was like, "I love it." Because sometimes you just need other people to give you ideas. That's what we're doing. Inspire people with your presence, with your words. Turn it around. What would it take? I am knackered. Knackered is me. You are not. There's nothing wrong with you. You are pure energy. There's just a few things that you can adjust to feel a lot happier and a lot more expanded and up into that courageousness, acceptance, and peace. Anyway, I hope you get something from that. Practice, delivered with humour, good for this. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. And remember, guys, please spread the word around about the festivals. Please help me get as many people along. We are going to have an amazing pop-up healing centre. I'm going to look at land at the end of the week to maybe have a day centre. We need to get this information out to people. There's so much that you can do to help yourselves. There's so much we can do to prevent disease and take our own power back in every level and to change the systems. I keep getting my Neils mixed up. Neil McEnroy, an economist, coming to the festival, going to be doing the opening ceremony with me. So we talk about health and wealth and how they're intrinsically linked and how we, the people, can make sure that we bring people out of that poverty mindset and that wealth. That's, survival state, because that's what it's about. How am I going to get through tomorrow? Have I got enough money? I mean, it's awful. 2024. What the hell? And then you'll hear Neil talk on the Saturday at 11:30. And him and I are going to brainstorm a real strategy, a revolution, becoming the activist and really getting on with this because it's time. Anyway, without any more ranting from me, have an awesome day and I will chat to you all tomorrow. Ciao.